Empathy needs energy. How many times have you felt guilty for not being able to empathize with someone who's having a hard time? Not because you didn't care, because you were just exhausted. We're going to talk about the research of why you should be gentle with yourself. Have you ever been so drained that someone else's pain felt like another weight added to your chest? Have you ever wanted to show up for a friend, but your body just gave up? Have you ever felt guilty because you didn't have the emotional bandwidth to be the strong one this time? We often think about empathy as a personality trait. I'm sure it has a lot of cultural, social, anthropological influence on it. One side of it we're not talking about enough in everyday life is biological. We're going to do that today. Researchers found that when you watch a loved one in pain, the anterior insula and anterior cingulate cortex activate, the brain's emotional pain centers. The sensory pain regions stay quiet, meaning your brain feels the emotional weight of their pain but gets none of the physical clarity. You feel the drain, but not the details. Of course, that's tiring. Apparently, when you are under stress, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for emotional regulation and perspective taking, gets severely impaired. Your brain shifts from thoughtful mode to survival mode. When you're overwhelmed and can be emotionally available for someone, you are biologically stopped from effectively empathizing. We don't feel selfish for biologically breathing to survive, so we don't need to feel selfish for biologically being stopped from empathizing. A brand new study showed that high emotional labor, especially surface acting, as in pretending to be okay or pretending to care when you're drained, correlates strongly with depression, anxiety, insomnia, and overall mental health decline. That p-value shows it is highly statistically significant. Empathy, especially when you're already tired, is emotional labor. You're regulating yourself and someone else. Another study found that empathizing with someone in distress initially activates negative effect and the same emotional pain circuits we talked about. Over time, this can cause emotional exhaustion, reduced capacity for empathy, compassion fatigue. This is why being the strong friend eventually breaks people. The study also says that compassion training can convert these negative effects to positive. There is a better way to empathize that takes care of ourselves too. One of the reasons indigenous storytelling circles and modern support groups rotate speakers could also be to avoid overwhelm in the same role, even if we don't actively think of it. The Brahma Viharas are a Buddhist interpretation to a Vedic concept that talks about four virtues, the cultivation of which gets you to divination. Look at that. Both compassion and equanimity are in there together. Look at equanimity, even-mindedness, serenity, treating everyone impartially. You know who everyone includes? You yourself too. If you can be empathetic for them, you can do so for you yourself too. Think about it this way, slightly twisty. If you're giving without thinking about your sustenance to be able to give, the moment you can't sustain becomes a moment you're not giving yourself to you either. Give when you can, be kind when you can't. If that's making you feel guilty, remember that you deserve empathy too. Be gentle with yourself.